A couple of weeks ago we had Shafi here to talk about SDR, the flex radio ones, and today we're talking about another one, the ICOM, and quite a few club members have got them, so we'll go through some of the features. But first of all, the old flex one had a QSD system, and that is basically a sound card based interface. It had the detector, it was the first generation, and you need an external computer to work it. Basically all it did, it would convert the RF into the two audio components, 90 degrees out of phase, and then all the magic happens in the software. And it had a USB interface, a little 1500. Basically, all the work happens in here. It's called the quadruple sampling detector, and then it goes into an audio codec and back to the computer. And it actually gets quite busy, the computer running all that stuff, because not only does it do the decoding, it also drives the radio, the frequency and all that. Now with these radios, it's very different. All this part, I couldn't find a block diagram for one of these actually, but the QSD and the codec is gone. It's got one processor, and the RF goes straight into that. It's called a FPGA, field programmable logic array, and all the magic happens in that, and what comes out of that is basically audio. So that's the second generation. The new flex radios, the very expensive ones, they are like that. However, they still need a computer. But all the processing actually happens in the radio, and the computer with those radios is really a network terminal. They have an RJ CAT connection, and you can actually connect them straight to it. Router and talk to them over the internet, which you can't do with this one quite that simply. But with this radio, all the processing is done in here, and you don't need any extra bits, but you can, as we see later. That's a nice picture of it, stretched. And it's got lots and lots of functions that you can't get with a normal radio. First of all, it's got everything you want. It's got a tuner in it. What's this thing going off?
That's your wife saying me behind soon.
No, that's
Don't forget the meal.
That's actually my son in Singapore talking to my wife on one of those comms programs. Fully featured radio, touch screen. It's got lots of display options, not just the RF spectrum, but also the audio spectrum. One of the differences, like with the little flex radio, was it can because it's based on an audio codec, it can only display 48 kilohertz. That's the bandwidth of a reasonable sound card, and this one can do 1 megahertz in splits. The big flex can actually do 20 megahertz if that's what you need, but I don't know how you pick out a signal in that sort of spread. It's got a 100 watt PA in it, auto tuner. The auto tuner is interesting because it's got a mode where it will tune an antenna that's 3 to 1, up to 3 to 1. If it's worse than that, it won't work, just doesn't like it. But if you put it in an emergency mode, they call it emergency mode, it will match up to 10 to 1. But it will reduce the power of the radio to 50 watts. So the components of the tuner don't get stressed with high voltages. Now it's got a USB interface, and that is also a sound codec, but not as it is in the Flex. It will actually, if you run digital modes like PSK and all that, you can, it looks like a sound card to your computer, and you can decode, run all those digital mode programs. And the same USB port also has a full CAT interface, so you can remote control the radio. Not only can you get audio through the USB port, but you can also fully control the radio. You can even turn it on and off remotely. So if you want to set up a remote station somewhere and control it over the internet, it's all built into the radio already. It doesn't draw a lot of power for a camping radio, less than 1 amp on receive. However, I noticed the other day it draws 100 milliamps just sitting there switched off when the USB is connected. So there's obviously something going on in there. It's got very easy to learn features because of the touch screen and all that. Once you figure it out, you can get easily around it. It's got voice memories. I use it to store cell calls in it, and they're labelled with the different call signs, and I just press a button and away it goes. It can't decode cell calls, but it can send them. It's got a CW key, lots of memories on that. You can restore all the messages. And even Dom could use it.
Fifth place.
So it's a good radio. Okay, see, that's what I've done with the memories, the voice transmission. Just touch the button and the way it sends out the coder and sends cell call. You have to record them first, of course, with the microphone. But it works really well. I called Owen many times, haven't I, Owen? You always come. Amazing, really, the cell call. You can barely hear someone talking, but cell call comes back. So it's got up to 8. I'm still waiting for someone to go in there. But the way I've done that, I've got an app on the phone that generates cell calls. You know, it's recorded. That's a nifty feature. And now I'll run the RSPA1 software. There's a piece of software that ICOM you can buy off ICOM, and it supports most of their radios actually. And they've made some changes throughout this radio. You can pretty well control everything on that radio via that software, either locally from your computer or over the internet if you want to, or over a local area network. So I'll just run that.
So where do you get that software from, Horst?
You buy it from ICOM.
From ICOM.
It's a little bit tricky to set up, and a lot of people have come to grief with it. Because it's got 2 components with it. You've got to run they call utility, which talks to the radio, and you've got to run that at each end, and then you run the actual terminal software, which is...
I haven't worked it out yet. I haven't worked it out yet.
You haven't worked it out yet?
How many miles have you joined it though?
I've used it a lot with my IC7300. In fact, I talked to you guys once when I was young, and you were camping at Weejasta, and I was using my radio at home from the car. Because we were too close to them. Do you remember that a few years ago? Okay, I'll just turn on this radio with that software. See, you've got an on-off switch up there. You can turn it off. And as long as this radio is connected to a computer at home, if that is running, and you can get into it, you have to open some ports on your router. You can turn that radio on and off. And there it goes. You can. I've set up the keys. When you go on here, it changes. But I set up the arrow keys so I can tune it. See, or I can turn up the volume on it. You can control your tuner, and you can't switch antennas on the on other radios. This software works with a lot of different radios, so once it's set up for a radio, it depends on the features the radio has. These things are either blanked out or they're active. You can even run CW. It's got the keyer, and you can then use the keyboard on the computer and run whatever, send messages.
Good idea.
Does it have any valves? Does it have what? Any valves? Yeah, one big one. No valve.
You forgot the E, the other valve.
And that goes out, and you just have to decode the receive. But you can do that over remote control as well. Everything I do here on the computer, I can actually control over the net if I want to. It has the spectrum scope. It also works over the network. It's not quite as good as the one on the screen on the radio, but it's usable. You can click on a signal. Hang on, I'll click on this. See, probably a Chinese broadcast station. And we'll change to radio. There you go. You can collect, you can change the filters. You can do what you like. It's very good if you're into remote control radio, and it doesn't take a lot of effort to get it going. So, any questions?
Back on the CW, can you double cheat and decode CW at the same as well?
You can't decode CW, you've got to use your ears for that.
I'm sure there's a program to do it somewhere.
Well, you could just hold the phone next to it with the decoder on the way through.
There are plenty of programs out there that do it
If you're a bit challenged, yeah. So, yeah.
It's got to be perfect code, that's the problem. Not many people send it.
So, what else would you like to know about this radio? I've been using it for about, maybe 4 or 5 months.
It's got a knob there on the screen.
What's that?
There's a knob on the bottom right of the screen. Can you use the mouse to tune it like that as well?
Yeah, you can just hold the mouse and it goes like
Just
that.
on one side like
The mouse buttons. But I've done it so I just use the arrow keys. It's much easier. The same with the volume. You can move the sliders here. See? But you do the same with the arrow key. You can configure different keys to do different things. I made the A key auto tuner. It will tune. It just did. See? Very quick.
And can you dial in the frequency?
Just key it in. I don't think so.
You double click on the frequency.
No.
Okay.
Also, can you set up the wheel on the mouse to run
To rotate the knob? Yeah, we can just use the mouse button. And as long as you hold the button down, it will keep going.
use the wheel on the mouse?
The scroll wheel. You probably could configure.
No, the wheel doesn't work on this. That's a real nuisance actually. It works on the Flex radio, but not on this one. But
Yeah.
that's why I
If
said.
you want to spend all that money on a Flex radio, you should be able to do. You should be able to send it to the moon, shouldn't you?
But that's why I set up the key. You can go in there and it's got a whole lot of shortcuts. See, these are the keys. You can define any key you want. And you've got scope on off. You've got tuning. The frequency up, down, left, right.
It's much more fun to use than the Flex 1500.
I wouldn't say that.
I reckon it beats my Flex 1500 all way.
Have you got the new software for the Flex?
The Flex, the noise floor bounces everywhere with strong signals. This just sits quiet, this is quieter, it's got a better receiver, it's easier to use, and of course it's standalone.
Yeah, well, the Flex, the 1500 in particular, they're pushing it uphill because, you know, it costs about $1,100 they want,
Yeah.
and for another
It's
$400,
all in there.
you get it all, and there's no comparison.
No.
I think they're dreaming if they think they can get that sort of money for it. $500 would be good, but not...
No, not with that radio.
Yeah.
It's got digital voice there. You got a codec in it like that, or quite
No.
standard, is it?
No, there's
Keeps
not
right
much.
out you.
Yeah.
It's really, in many ways, it's just a standard radio. The fact that the internals is SDR is neither here nor there. It just helps to generate those nice displays you can get on it. I'll turn it down.
How do you set bandwidth?
Bandwidth,
Filters.
you can just
Yes.
select the filters.
Probably on the back.
High SWR,
See,
Preview.
Okay.
you can set the bandwidth.
Yeah, just use a touch screen.
You've got 3 different bandwidths, but they're all customizable. That's the one thing I think the Flex is better at, the size.
No, you can just slide
No,
it.
the shape of the filter in the Flex is virtually vertical,
Yeah.
whereas the 7300 is a little conical. So
Oh, you
you
can-
can't get in quite as close.
You can make them cut off sharply. There's two
Yeah,
options.
they're still slightly conical.
But, you know, for all practical purposes.
Yeah, so you just can't quite get in as close as you can on 1500. That'd be the only thing I reckon 1500 is better at.
Yeah, well, they're different radios.
Yeah.
The other thing that's a little bit annoying with this is, even though it covers 1 meg bandwidth, you can see the whole band in one go. On the Flex, as you tune across the shortwave spectrum, it displays the waterfall and the spectrum on the screen. On this one, and you don't actually notice it unless you look closely, once you go outside the band,
Yeah.
it stops. And
Disappears.
you actually have to define 1 meg ranges you want to look at. You can actually define 3 ranges per band, but you have to do it. Otherwise, it will just stop at the end of the band. And if you tune, say, from 7.5 to 8 meg, it doesn't display on the screen. You think it does, but when you look closely, it's not doing anything.
You can also set the display to several different widths where your signal is and see what's either side of you, and that just moves with you. But it's not as, I suppose there it's not as much fun as the Flex either. You've got to figure out where you are a little bit.
Yeah,
It's not as representative.
it's got a nice audio scope. You can look at the
Yeah.
audio band, and you can annoy people by telling them they're too wide.
That's going to sound really well. Doesn't it?
And you get the same answer. Oh, not.
No, that's exactly right. Yeah, or bugger off. But yeah, that's one thing with the software-defined radio where you got that display. You get people, you get the band police coming up, you know,
Yeah.
say, oh, you're stuttering, but a lot of people do actually, because most people, especially a lot of the newer hands, seem to like all knobs to the right when they talk, and they have terrible signals. Some of them, you know, they go 10 kilohertz up the band, and it's very obvious when you look at them, this sort of thing. And the same is true for the WI broadcast on Sunday morning on AM. It's about 20 kilohertz wide. Have you had a look at that ever?
You're going to a high flyer and so on.
It's horrible, you know, and they've been told that they won't do anything about it. They really
And I guess
the 40 metres.
you've also got that utility knob to the top right of the screen where you punch that, and you can define, or you can set your audio gain, you can set your, gone out of my head, but you can set all manner of things, set your power, dead easy, absolutely dead easy on the touch screen.
What are notch filters there? One straight out, sorry.
Yep.
It's so easy
Do they all
to
have
use.
notch filters or?
We're going to say it's so easy to use, even I can use it.
And
have a ball.
Dom, don't forget Dom.
Yeah.
No, it is a
He
great
actually,
one.
he actually ran in the contest. You can't.
Well, so we just backtrack a bit. So, on the, if you're using the general coverage receiver, the band scope's not real high. Is that what you're saying?
Well, once you move outside a band, it doesn't work. Well, it sits there and it appears to work, but it doesn't.
It's still sitting
But
on
you
the mic.
can, if you're interested in any band, you can define that section, 1 meg section, and you can look at it, but you have to go into the menu first and do it. But for the ham bands, it's already set
So you're
up.
saying if you're listening from 7 to 7.3,
That's all there.
Okay.
that's fine, but as soon as you get to 7.35, and
nothing
Then-
happens. Yeah.
then nothing happens.
Yeah, although I think it's set up from 7 to 7.5.
Right.
But you can actually set it up to go from 7 to 8.
And then
And
you'll
how
see
complex
the
is it to set that up? Like, is that something you could do, you know, while you're on the fly?
Yeah, if you...
If you had done it regularly?
Yeah. But, I mean, if you're interested in doing that, you probably have your predefined band.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can do it. It's easy to do.
So Horst, does it just do it like that when you define the band? Or does it, what if you set the middle point as your current frequency, so you're seeing, say, a 500 kilohertz band?
Oh, I forgot to mention that if you make it so your frequency is in the center,
Yeah,
it actually works.
that's what I thought.
Yeah,
You-
it does.
because then you're just seeing 250 kilohertz below
Oh,
above
yeah,
your
Yeah,
current frequency.
if you change it to center from, we've got to go back to
So rather than just saying a fixed band.
okay, if I set it to center,
I never had that.
I can actually move across.
So the screen shows the middle current frequency.
But if I set it to fix,
and you're seeing
then it's got a
250
fixed
kilohertz
range.
above.
You see it says here, scope out of
Okay, and that works, no
That
matter where
works.
you are.
No matter where you are.
You lost contact again, so.
Yeah, okay, must be
Oh, yeah,
strong.
but the whole hand band is there. It's for people like me that listen to 8903.
What's that?
It's just a way to toggle, you just toggle the way the spectrum scope works.
It's a bug. Horst, Dave's got another question he's a bit embarrassed to ask.
Yeah.
To do with, it doesn't have an Ethernet connection, an Ethernet port, it's only got USB.
Yeah.
So to remote it, you have to have a computer plugged into it.
Yeah.
It would surely be useful if it had Ethernet, we could just put straight over a LAN, wouldn't it?
It would be, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
Good answer. That's going to be on the.
You've got to spend more money to do that.
7400.
The big ICOM does that. The ICOM 7851 does
So
that.
they have to get the rating.
Okay.
Raspberry Pi.
Okay, that's okay.
That's why you shouldn't rush in.
Regarding the remote control software you guys are driving yourself, that sort of covers a number of different ICOM radios.
Yeah.
That's the same one I will ship for 7100. So that's why it's got the digital voice, and that's not straight out because
See, that's why it's plugged out here?
yeah,
Because that radio doesn't
which the 7100 does.
Yeah.
That's what
So-
I'm saying.
So that software which I got, the 7100, should be compatible with this.
Yeah, I'll show you the conversion spec. You see, there's the 7300.
Yeah.
And if you want to see, that's all the radios it supports.
They're all the radios that are on Horst's desk.
One. But it supports an awful lot of different radios, and it at various levels. Some very good, some not so
I
good.
don't see coding for you.
Even some of the older ones, like the IC7000, it will drive that. But you've got to do a few things to make it work, because the audio doesn't come through.
Now mechanically.
So begging for bucks, Horst, this is better than the flex radios, is that right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Except the high-end ones. I mean,
But you mean the high-end flex radios?
The real
Yeah,
expensive
$6.5 grand.
yeah, that's right. But you
It's
know,
a bang for buck. It is probably the best.
I mean, they're a very good receiver, but it's really a bit of a solution asking for a problem, you know. They've got 8 slices. You can look at 8 different slices of bands. You can scramble your
Well, they can
brains
sell
with
two to
one
the
of
ACMA.
Yeah, some people complain it's only got one antenna socket. Oh, buy an antenna switch.
Look, I'll just say to Rod, I think I have as much fun with my 101 as you have with your 7300. I just have much fun.
That's next month's lecture.
Yeah, well, it is still a basic radio, but you know,
But it's not thrifty.
if you could only have one radio, which would probably be doing it, you know.
Until they bring out the E-model with the Ethernet connection on next week, which will be
I don't think they have.
$500 cheaper.
Maybe they'll put it on the 7610 that's coming out soon.
Just buy both, right?
Because from a marketing point of view, because this has captured so much of the market now, really, I mean, everybody's talking about them, everybody's buying them. Dom's mate the other day was basically gave him a big kick by saying, yeah, well, they're selling lots of them, not selling the flex radios.
Mm.
The competition's going to get onto this pretty quick, I reckon. I mean, Yace's going to bring out something. It's going to have to, because otherwise it's going to lose that much market share. It's going to get that front.
Well, they've just upgraded the 991, which was really a very silly radio in as much as it had the spectrum display, but when you looked at that, you couldn't get audio. You could look at the spectrum, but it stopped. It could do one or the other. And the new one, the 991A, will do it properly. But I don't know what they were thinking when they brought that radio out in the first place.
You wouldn't want to have shares in Yace or Kenwood right now.
Well, they've been sort of lazy. I mean, look at that little 817, which is a brilliant little radio, but it's crying out for an update. And that's been going for 14 years, I think. That's a long time. But they're obviously still selling lots of them because you could have DSP in it, a lithium-ion battery, and, just a few things to power it up a bit.
A nice thing would be a remote head on this too, wouldn't it?
Mm. Yeah. Well, there's a few bits missing, obviously.
But no, it's the basic radio. They didn't do an SP expert, I can tell you.
It's a little bit big to put in the car,
Not
Yeah.
Land Cruiser.
Nothing to try.
To show you. Give me 2 weeks and pull a duct tape.
You'll fix it up.
Is the software only Windows-based, Horst? Does it work on a Mac or anything?
No,
Linux?
Windows
Windows.
software. Yeah.
Only Windows.
Yeah. And it's, as you can see, it's pretty, basic the way the layout is. That box you've got there, it doesn't actually scale onto a smaller screen.
Yeah.
You can't reduce the size. See, if I try and scale it, nothing happens. It's that size and that's it. One size
It's
is
compatible with Windows 3.
Windows 1. I still got a set of discs at home, Windows 1.0, by the way. They're going to be worth lots of money.
What operating systems?
Do you want to buy a few more? Then go back to XP.
Is that what?
Will XP support that?
XP?
When XP?
Support this
I
software.
don't know. Probably, maybe not. Although, the way it looks, it probably does.
Well, if it covers all those old radios, we quite like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yes.
I'll try it. I can do that. Actually, I've got an XP on this one. I could try it on that. So,
If you want to go portable, I can certainly recommend it. I took that to tomorrow and having to talk about that. It's brilliant to take on the plane.
Did you just take your hand luggage?
I took it in my backpack. Confused the crap out of the guys at Sydney Airport. What is it? The X-ray when you go through it. So I didn't take it out. He said, what is it? I said, it's a radio transceiver. I said, see that socket there? The microphone's in the bag, in the checked-in baggage. See that socket at the back? That's where the aerial goes. I don't have an aerial with me. See that socket? That's where the power goes. There's no power cord with me. That's in the bag.
you don't really want to argue with these guys once you get their backs up.
Oh, no, he's fine. He's fine. He's fascinated by it. And he said, what do you do with it? I said, talk to the world. Really? And when I got to Samoa, they weren't worried about the radio. They were worried about the 1 metre, 4-inch diameter tube I had with all bits of aluminium in it for the track vertical. What the hell's this? What is it, a weapon or something?
Talk to ISIS on it.
Yeah. So, and coming back, I had no problem with either of them.
That's why you didn't have any fuses. Just to recap, you're running that locally here. You're not connected to your setup at home, are you?
No, the radio is there.
Right, so it's just local. Yeah,
Well, I have run this up here on the
Right.
computer.
So what you were saying before about it, it's a bit of a cow to set up is when you're wanting to run terminal mode when remote.
Well, once you've got it set up, you can switch easily between the two. I'll show you the program that you need to run before you run this. And the program you need to run at each end is this one. It's called Remote Utility. And see, these are all the radios I've set up with it. They're all offline at the moment, but then you've got a server list. And this is my laptop. And this is actually my IP address at home. And I've got the port open and I can dial into my.
So you've got to run fixed IP addressing.
Yeah, I've got a fixed IP at home.
Yeah.
You're not on a cable then, are you?
Yeah, I'm on.
No, you
Well,
can
I'm
still
on
run
8 years
fixed
old.
addressing.
Yeah. 8 years old.
Oh, yeah. Unfortunately, you can't get it on a cable.
We'll just run it right now.
Okay.
But there's ways around it.
Yeah.
You can still do it if you don't have a fixed IP, but it's just much easier this way. But that's basically how it runs. You've got to know the IP address, and you've got to set up each radio, and this piece of software connects to the radio. But you could actually have different radios connected to that server, and then you can select which one you want to start up. And they can be turned off, and you can fire them up. Even the 7600 actually did a firmware change, so you could do that. It could be put in a standby mode. The 7600 has a funny problem because when it's turned off, the USB goes off. And
It's a one shot.
so it used to. Now, with the new firmware change, it has a standby mode where part of the radio is still on. But this one works out of the box like that. And see, there's the radio list, and each one of them, let's see, you configure the audio and all that, the levels. You can change the audio level that comes out and goes in. It's a little bit fiddly to set up, but once it's done, that's it. You've got to make sure that you're talking through the USB to the radio. If you forget that, then when you key it up remotely, it thinks you're talking into the microphone. So you've got to be aware of that. There's an option in the other program. When you just run the remote control, you can't actually use the USB audio on this. But see, it has options here. The microphone's set.
Your radio's off.
No, you can't.
No, your radio's off.
Oh, it should work. Oh, yeah, the radio.
There we go.
See, I can set the modulation to USB, to the accessory socket. There is an accessory socket, or to the microphone. And you've got to be aware of all these little pitfalls but once it's set up.
But sitting on your desk is fun, just a little black box. It's great.
Before you close it, run the program again and unplug the USB.
Yeah.
Plug it in and press retry rather than cancel.
Yeah.
Does it pick up?
I think that connector's a bit dodgy, the cable.
Each time it's had a problem, you rerun the program.
It's coming.
All right.
Unplug the USB. Unplug the USB.
Unplug the USB. And now,
Plug it back in and hit retry.
plug it in and do retry.
It works. You still got control?
No. Oh, yeah.
So what you need to tune around to see if it's not just a black box. You want to hear stuff on it, man.
You want to hear stuff.
Yeah. There's some of it.
Well, I have to say, from an operating point of view, Horst brought it along to the transmitter contest. It became 50.
Yeah.
And it was brilliant.
It worked
really well.
Yeah, it's earned its stripes, hasn't it?
The sage is going to speak.
Horst, I just wanted to ask you whether you think this radio is actually have control of your life.
I've got too many competing for that.
Can't narrow to one road.
You